back. Welcome, everybody. I am Travis Blythe with Corner 6 Labs, and welcome to the Lab Report. Today I have a special, I guess it's special. I'm going to say it's special. I think it's going to be more fun than anything else. But our guest today is Jimmy Ryan with Really Bad Radio. And we lucked out and asked him to come on the show, and they weren't too busy. So I'm able to have him on. We're going to talk all about his radio show. We're going to dive into the background. We're just going to talk everything from marketing to radio to internet television. And we're just going to be all over the place. We're going to show some clips from the show, and we're just going to talk about it. So if you guys want to join in, as you've seen on the show a little bit today, we do have Twitter Fountain. Go to twitterfountain.com. Put in the hashtag CelebrityU under the settings in the bottom right-hand corner.
That is so neat.
And you can follow the hashtags. Right now, nobody is manning the hashtags, but that's fine. If you want to join in, we can see it up on the wall anyway, and we can talk about it and answer questions and all that good stuff. You want to talk to us at Corner 6 Labs because you like what we have to say, you can reach us on Twitter. It's at Corner 6 Labs. You can contact me directly. I am at Blydog. You can come visit our website at corner6labs.com. We have a blog you can read about us. There's so many ways. Just Corner 6 everything. It's Facebook as well. So we're getting stuff set up here in the background. So I'm just going to keep talking. So it looks like we're ready. So without further ado, I want to introduce my guest today, Jimmy Ryan with Really Bad Radio.
Hey.
Welcome, Jimmy.
And we got to start it right because I'm going to tell you, yes, thank you, Jimmy. Every night when he comes on the show, this is how he's introduced. So let's start with his intro to his show.
Let's play the.
Oh, you want the intro?
RBR intro. Let's start it off.
Every night at 8 o'clock.
All right.
And this is very good. He did this himself, by the way.
Oh, actually, it starts out with the Zelda theme. If anybody knows about the Zelda theme, we're big geeks on this show. But it starts out with this. I'm going to go ahead and fast forward a little bit.
Okay.
A star-studded review featuring the greatest entertainers in America.
I didn't make this radio-friendly.
Presented this week and every week. Presented this week and every week till it's over there.
Mark, yeah, yeah.
There's Matt. That's one of his co-hosts.
Yeah, yeah. And I know who's emailing and who's doing it because I fact-traced it. Consequences will never be the same.
An official radio show.
You're not as fucking enough, so don't fucking call me out there. You're lucky that I'm fucking out your block up right now.
Guess we forgot to use a little beeping segment there.
Yeah, I was gonna say yeah. It is. It's not. We like to say that it's a family show, but it's kind of tongue in cheek when we say that. So
As long as your family consists of all males.
right.
now, let me tell you what, in his chat room, he's got a lot of females that, let me tell you, that he's got quite the fan base out there with him.
So where I want to get started is, there's two other hosts that couldn't make it with you today, so let's give them a shout out first.
Yeah, Matt and Brad, and then also Sam, who is our producer. They have 9 to 5s, so they got to do their thing, so they couldn't make it.
Where I want to get started was you guys were all, or some of them still are, in what we call, I guess, normal radio on the airwaves out there. Is that how you guys all met and got started, or how did this thing all take shape?
Yeah, I mean, for the most part, it was, a lot of people that all came from regular radio. We all had, kind of that as our main, drive. I started out interning for a local radio show that was on at night, which I totally dug. That was always kind of where I was a little bit more comfortable doing night shows. I'm not a morning guy. Right now, I naturally wake up at like 11:30, 12 o'clock, and that's like, hey, I woke up early. This is like a early show, early riser. But then I ended up doing promotions, all types of other stuff, and then moved to the morning show, which, you would think is like a dream come true. But, again, it's that morning. You have to wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning. And, you also have to deal with a lot of things. I hate to be that stereotypical radio guy that, says that you have to deal with the program directors and advertisers. But you do. I mean, you have to deal with those things, and it changes, what you're doing. So we all kind of liked the format we were doing, which was more of like an alternative format with no real boundaries. And then they formatted us. They made us a sports station.
Oh,
so
yeah, I remember it.
all of a sudden, we went from a place where it was kind of like a melting pot of ideas to a place where it was like number crunching. And like, everybody's going to tell you, no, that he threw for this many, and he's
Right.
going to throw for that. And it's like all the fun just kind of got sucked right out of the place. So, kind of reinvented it all online and, saw who, kind of would come along. And, it's come a long way. So.
Well, that's great. So tell me, you guys decided not to continue in traditional radio, and you wanted to do it online.
He actually quit.
Is that
Yeah.
was that
actually
was there
quit
just
to
no
do it.
other I guess format or radio station out there that's doing that anymore? And you just decided to try this? What possessed you to say,
Yeah.
let's do the internet thing versus keep us on the radio?
Well, basically, I was doing the morning show still. We were doing more of a sports, type of format, and it became more and more sports as it went on. And I liked, like I said, the alternative format where we weren't necessarily set with certain things that we had to talk about, certain things we had to say. And when I quit, I did. It was just kind of like a random. I told everybody that I wasn't, dealing with it well. And then finally one morning, I just went in there and I said, "Hey guys, this is could be my last day. I'm just gonna tell them I can't do it anymore." So it was kind of random. And then I got a couple offers to go to other places, which was cool. But again, it was even formats that I used to really like. And like a good rock format doesn't seem like it would be a very big deal, but. In music radio, you find out very quickly that you're not going up there and just playing a song and then talking for, however long you want to, and then throwing it to commercials. Your program director is going to be on you, saying
Mentions.
that you got 15 seconds. You got 15 seconds to ramp up this song, introduce what's going to come up next. I mean, if you can get in your name, you are like way ahead of the curve. So like, it's I don't know, it's one of those things where. I guess I got kind of spoiled with the old format and being able to just kind of talk off the cuff and have fun. I mean, that was the main thing that I felt like we kind of missed when we went over to sports is we had like a really good running relationship with our fans. And like all of a sudden when we went over to sports, we were telling them the same things that we really believed. We're not going to have to change. They told us we're not going to have to change. And then all of a sudden we're like forcing, Jerry Jones down their throats. Now, most people would really like to have a talk with Jerry Jones. I could care less. I could care less about that guy. The guy
You want to talk about the cheerleaders.
Yeah, no, I would much rather bring in the cheerleaders. They're much more entertaining. I'm like, Jerry Jones is boring. He's a boring man.
But one thing I found funny is I know the show you're talking about, and the host over there has been on several different formats, and all of a sudden hear him doing sports one day, I was like, are you serious?
Yeah, I mean, like, and it doesn't matter, like, what, the talent is. I mean, like, your audience feels a little betrayed, and the reason why I kind of took special offense to that, I guess, is because I was a fan. I was a fan of so many different shows that, either they would, stick with what they believed in and the reason why you originally started watching or listening, or they would do what we always call jumping the shark, where all of a sudden, like, it's going in a different direction. Maybe they're, like, really trying to appease a certain audience or gain a new one. Yeah, I mean, like, certain things like that, financially, those could be good decisions to make. I mean, like, we've seen a lot of these people that, end up doing, like, these huge advertising campaigns at the end of their careers, and you're like, I can't believe that he's doing that. All of a sudden, William Shatner. You know what I mean? Like, these types of things where, like, all of a sudden you see, like...
They're jumping the shark.
But then all of a sudden you find out how much William Shatner's making on that. Have you seen this?
And
he's made more money off of that campaign than he has in his entire acting career.
I think they gave him a percentage of the company.
Yeah. So, you can't really blame the guy, you know what I mean? Like, what if he never found another acting gig again? So, I'm not saying that he made the wrong decision. I'm just saying that some people... would lose their entire audience based on some of those things. So, and it happens in the ratings. You see it.
And ratings are important because that's what brings in the revenue for the advertisers.
Well, and in this format, you don't really have a producer coming down on you saying, Jimmy, the ratings just aren't here anymore. What do you know?
Right.
Actually, they're here.
But, figuratively, you guys just go and roll with it.
No, it's much worse. I mean, like, one of the things, and I know that we talk about social media here, it's much worse, the ratings here, because you know exactly what they are. I mean, like, when you would get a bad ratings book in regular radio, you'd always pass it off as if somebody lost their diary
or
something like that. You know, like all of a sudden you're like, you know what? I guess one person fell off, so it's not a really good, idea of who's really tuning in. No, here you know who tuned in, where they tuned in from, if they were happy or mad, if they like what browser. It's you really know everything about it. So like if you start having a bad show, you start seeing everything start to plummet, and you're like, okay, I got to reconfigure this stuff, which I kind of like a little bit better,
And now you guys are nearing in on 2 million viewers.
Yeah.
So that's I remember it didn't seem like that long ago. You just rolled the million, and that was like a huge milestone. So getting onto that segment of it, once you guys got started and put this brainchild together, and this is what we're going to do, was it pretty easy to get started and start your fan base, or did you guys just go on live one day and had like 3 people watching, and you had to build it from scratch, or did you guys have enough personality from your 9 to 5 gigs, as you mentioned, that actually you could pull some people in, and how did you market yourselves when you first started?
Well, when we first started, a lot of people don't realize this even still, but when we first started, it was literally in my living room.
Yeah, I was there.
We did live shows every Saturday. I was still working at the station, so I didn't have very much extra time. I was producing a full-time morning show, but I wanted to start something. I wanted to do something else, so we started doing Really Bad Radio every Saturday night from my living room. And if anybody tuned into this, it was mainly just a bunch of drunk people falling all over each other. It was not a broadcast. It was mainly I was trying to figure out if we could get cameras to run for 2 hours straight. So we even did. One night ended with one of my friends being waterboarded by me in the middle of my living room, which I'm sure that my landlord loved.
Yeah.
But actually trying to build an audience was difficult. I remember the night that we were doing that waterboarding, which I thought was hilarious. We had 3 people watching. 3 people. So this guy is
the CIA and Dick Cheney.
I'm taking one for the team. Seriously, this guy's really taking one for the team, and he's doing it so that 3 people might actually enjoy their night at home. So you gotta appreciate that, I guess. And I always equate the very beginning of Really Bad Radio to trying to kick water uphill. It felt like it wasn't going anywhere, and then you started feeling a little bit of momentum. And me, I guess, being the way I was, I felt a little bit of the momentum, and that gave me just enough arrogance to, go off. I had to get out of the old place, and I had to get out of there. And since then, it's progressively gotten better. So I dig it. It's one of those things where I think that if you appreciate your audience and you respect them, then they're going to respect you, keep on coming back. So,
but he also has a good thing is that he's highly geeky. You can't tell he's a handsome kid, but he's smart, sharp. He does his own, he knows these cameras. He does his websites and all that stuff. And so, you've been busy building that foundation, and that was helpful too.
So do you find yourself with this new social media craze, and we talk about it a lot, and I know you've got the show's got 2 different handles. You got a personal one on Twitter, and then there's the show, and you got your Facebook fan page, and your new website's now launched, and all this stuff. Do you find yourself, are you guys still actively involved in that, or is that kind of now, now that you've got the fan base and almost 2 million people viewing the show, and you seem to be rolling every night, you launched this new chat room and you're answering questions for people, has that taken kind of a slower angle now, or do you guys still feel the need that you have to ramp up and still promote that way as well?